Welcome to pump training. As you can see, I'm in my backyard in beautiful Michigan fall season, and here I have a pump. Might not look like a pump because I've taken it all apart, but during this training I'm going to show you how to do this and put it back together and have it functioning. First, I'd like to get into the model of this pump. Right here on this tag, it will say STX2A-DEF. And I put together a whiteboard explaining what that is. So here you can see that the S stands for stainless, T stands for truck, X is external ball bearings, 2 is the size, it's a 2-inch pump, and then A at the end is the design revision of this pump. The DEF stands for diesel exhaust fluid, so this pump is specifically made for that type of application. Now I'm going to take apart the entire pump and go over each of the components so we can just kind of like learn the names, so that as I'm going through the videos, you'll be familiar with what each of the components are called. Now that I've taken apart the entire pump, I can explain each of the components. And to help me out, I have our parts list. So found on our website, we have the parts list for this STX2A DEF pump. And I'll go over the components that you'll see here. So first we have the cap to the relief valve, which is this guy right here. And then we have the adjustment screw with the relief. Then we have the cover. And then cap screws for that, which are located right there. The spring guide, it's this little guy right here. And you'll see that it is installed like so. Like so. Then we have the spring. You're gonna have different springs that you can get. You will luckily find a number on the spring telling you which one it is. Then the valve itself, right here, it's installed this way. I don't think you can install it the other way. Yeah, don't install it that way. It's definitely installed this way. We have the wind and the leaves coming down, hopefully not making too much noise. The O-ring for the relief valve is right here. Then we have the cylinder. This whole thing is called the cylinder. The rotor and shaft right here. Then we have the Dura vanes. This pump has 4 vanes. We have 2 heads. Here's your head. Cap screws, they're over here for the head. Bearings, right here. You can see that there's a cover on one side of the bearing, and I'll get into that later. Lock nut set screws, right here, the lock nut. Lock washer, this little guy. We got the cap screws, gaskets for the bearing cover is right here. Those were the covers, screws. The key for the shaft is missing. It would go in this groove here or on the other side, but I don't have a key. Flanges, here are your flanges. These are weld flanges. So you can see the connection there, you would weld on, as opposed to an MPT connection, you'd see threads if it was an MPT. This is your weld connection. Your O-ring for your flanges, located right there. We have O-rings for the head. They're still mounted on here. So So there are the orange O-rings, PTFE for this pump. 2 plugs, 1/4 inch, so your suction and your discharge plugs. Grease fittings, so looking at here, we have the grease fitting and the grease relief. Here are your 2 push rods that are going to act in between the vanes. See if I can hold this like so. Seal ring, relief cap right there. There, take it off. I hope this threads on easily. There we go, it's on. Oil seal are these guys. I pushed this one out, so you'll see it gets installed like so. So when you have this out, you should be able to see that spring, just about see the spring. Here's one installed. The dirt shield is right here. Mechanical seal, I have the full assembly right here of the mechanical seal. The shaft protector I don't have, and that's that. So going on to mechanical seal. So here's the whole assembly. The components, not the screwdriver, right here. I'm going to explain those now. So we have 2 O-rings. One is going to be the rotating O-ring, and one is the stationary O-ring. Here is your rotating O-ring, and here is your stationary O-ring. So you can purchase those 2 for this pump, or just the whole assembly right here. So if you just needed to replace the O-rings, you can do it. And that is all the components for this pump.
PSG, where innovation flows.